That's what separates the pros from the.
We caught it. We caught it. We caught it.
Caught it. Yep. I'm so used to having a timer moving when recording that when I don't see it, I'm like, whoa, something's weird.
Something's wrong. All right, well, hello and welcome to the 60th Planet Destiny podcast, the big 6-0. What happens when you're 60 years old? Do you get AARP yet? Or
don't you qualify for restaurant discounts and crap?
Yeah.
Ooh, early bird special.
Early bird special.
And we're getting rated in the chat. Hello, Goth Raiders.
It's a Goth
Raiders.
That's
That's
fierce. Awesome. DestinyCon 2016.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
Who's going? Of the podcast members, she's got
Right here.
I wish I could.
I'm actually pretty excited because they asked me to be on a couple of the panels, and I think, Patrick, you're also going to be on a couple. And,
yep. I need to buy my plane ticket.
Yeah, I got to get my plane ticket, but I honestly believe that DestinyCon is like the ultimate example of what this community has done with the game that was given to us, right? Think about it. All the community members that have been involved with Destiny, from Gathalion, Professor Broman, that crew of streamers, the Planet Destiny team, Guardian Radio, everybody who we've worked with over the years, when something hasn't been in the game, we've created it, right? We've created it for our community and we've kind of been involved. And DestinyCon's another example, man. It's just turning out to be so powerful.
For me, it's a 3,000-mile flight, and my wife and I were in the process of getting a new home, and then TwitchCon is the following month, so it's like all these bills stacking on top of each other where it's like, this is going to either be very irresponsible or I should just realize that I can't go.
Have a couple beers, then make a decision, Tafty.
Exactly.
If it sounds good while you're both sober and drunk, then it's a good decision.
There you go, exactly.
Think about that.
Well, thank you very much, Gathalion, for the raid. We really appreciate it, and thank you very much for being an awesome member of the Destiny community.
Like you said, Pope, is like when it's not in the game, people create it. LFGs, DestinyCon, you name it, it's out there.
So, been a little bit slow.
There's been stuff that's happened, but there hasn't been any new content to discuss.
Obviously they took us on a tour of the Dreadnought.
Right.
They took us on some fairly lengthy walks throughout, and I liked how they showed off some of the concept art. They showed how it had translated directly into the building of the Dreadnought itself.
Right.
I did have a complaint. I felt like they lingered too long in most areas. I would have liked to see more of the Dreadnought and maybe get into a strike or two. I was really hoping actually that they were going to show off the Darkblade strike, because that's one of my favorite parts of the Dreadnought. Mm-hmm. That's really my biggest complaint of the whole thing. But overall, I was fascinated by most of it. And
my opinion is sort of a little bit changed. How do I explain this? Hops, the designer that was in the ride along talking, he's a friend of mine, and we play once a week, twice a week, and he has done, I've spent a lot of time in the Dreadnought, like having him just explain stuff to me, like, hey, look at this, and I've gotten like the deep, in-depth version of the Dreadnought ride along, and I'm with you, Briar. I just wish we would have been able to hear some of those really cool stories that I've heard from Hops himself on like how things were created and put together, and the team that developed it. But I'm with you. I really like to hear the designers talk about what goes into game making, because I'm not only a fan of the game of Destiny, but of video games in general, and I really like to know what goes into making.
Yeah.
I will say, as far as the 5 ride-alongs that we've seen so far, I didn't feel like this was one of the strongest ones. Like, we talked a little bit about this last week. The Cosmodrome I thought was really cool. We heard about this area that we had been through 1,000 times, right? That big explosion with the pipes. And we found like kind of a backstory out about that. I talked about last week that moon where we found that pillar that had been cleaved in half, possibly by a big sword. I didn't really hear a whole lot of stuff like that. We got to see the prison. It didn't really connect to me that those were individual cells, and that was kind of like a torture device that was kind of going up and down like that. But I just, like I said before, I feel like if they had moved through it faster, I would have been more entertained. And if we got to see more of it,
I really like to hear how the concept art was put together, like from, hey, this was the original, the designers got this job, they got this set of instructions to make it this, and the kind of back history on how things were looked at, the idea here is, and then the level of detail when they started talking about like the color palettes of being more regal, and when you got towards the fighting Oryx himself, how little details that you wouldn't necessarily see but your eye catches become information that's communicated to you, and it informs the player, but in a way that you wouldn't necessarily see or know is happening, right?
I don't think I ran that mission, because they actually played the last mission of the Taken King. Like, story-wise, they played the last mission. I don't think I had played that mission in probably 3 months. And as soon as I was done, I went and played that mission. As soon as it was over, I went and played that mission, because, it was cool. Some of the stuff I kind of had forgotten about, like that big regal door, looking off into the mist off the bridge, walking into that Oryx chamber and having that line, like, completely dark hallway, that line of light lead up to the door, then illuminate the Taken King symbol. Like, I had kind of forgotten about that stuff, so it was cool to see it and then go and experience it again for myself.
Huh. Do you think it's worth somebody who hasn't watched that ride along to go and rewatch it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, if you've liked the ride alongs in the past, I would recommend watching.
I really enjoy game development type of logs and vlogging and all that. So people talking about the process,
I think that Bungie community couch, or whatever we decided to call it, the Bungie casting couch, I guess, is what
community casting couch.
Nope. Wasn't. I forget the name that we gave it, but anyway.
Well, we were joking about the community casting.
Oh,
couch.
Okay, all right. So the idea of that being there, I also would have maybe seen a little bit of the Breaking In series a little bit into that. I know they touched a little bit about the jobs that they have and their responsibilities, and then they went into the elements of the game, but it would
it was a ride along for the Dreadnought, so they're probably not going to get into like their history as game designers and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're probably right for entertainment value, but my point still stands. I would like to hear about these people and their jobs after, at some point.
So I was actually hosting the entire stream on my personal channel, right? Because I've watched these things in the past and I know what that chat's like. So a couple people said, why don't you just host it here and we'll all just hang out and chat here. So we only had like 30 people in the chat, and we were able to have like real conversations about what we were seeing, which was nice. That was not the case if you went over to Bungie's Twitch channel, and where it was just raining insults and fire and the worst of humanity festering in a pit of despair and hatred. I think that accurately sums it up.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
I was sick, but I remembered, oh yeah, this thing's going on. I got my laptop. Let me just tune in real quick, and then saw what they were doing. I was like, cool. They're at this section. They're doing the last mission. Okay.
Right.
I look over at chat, and it was just, oh no.
What was the largest amount of people you saw in there? When I was watching, there was 18,000.
It was nearly 20,000. Yeah,
it was 20,000.
Almost 20. Yeah.
I think a good portion of the chat that was expecting it reacted poorly to their being exactly what it was said it was going to be, and that's why you saw some of the salt in there. I think there was a lot of trolls in there, and
mob mentality as well. Once it gets going, then it's kind of fun to join in. Unfortunately, though, like, it's a perfect opportunity. It doesn't turn out like this ever, but it's a perfect opportunity to ask these guys questions about what they're talking about. Unfortunately, those kinds of questions get buried in death threats and requests for suicide. which is too bad because, like, imagine if you were watching them, explore this space, and you're like, hey, I've always wondered about this one little thing. Like, what is that thing? But there's no way they're ever going to see that. Deej can be Hawkeye in that chat, and the speed it's moving at with all the hate, it's not even.
Before we jumped on air, Ryer, you had what I thought was a really good suggestion as to how they may do ride-alongs in the future.
The way they've done them in the past, I think, was better. Is they brought in community members to ask those questions. Right? They invited you, Pope, and they brought you in, and you were prepared. You had questions, and I think it makes for a more interesting show because if you think about it, right, you got 3 guys there that live and work Destiny day in, day out. They've seen these areas millions of times, right? They created these areas. Some of the things that they're looking at just don't ring as interesting, but that's just because they're so intimately familiar with it. But if we had somebody in there who is less familiar, who had questions, a community member who could be like, hey, what about this thing? I've always wondered about this. Maybe that sparks like an interesting story about the creation of that thing. Maybe that sparks, another thread of thought, another thread of consciousness. Whereas to me, the whole thing almost felt a little bit rote. Like it was like they're just kind of going through the motions because they have to be there. That's cruel. It sounded more cruel coming out of my mouth than I meant it to. But that's really, I think having the community members there opens up more of a dialogue,
maybe they should just
questions.
take questions from like Twitter or something. I mean, you got Cosmo there, and you can probably take questions from Twitter or
Absolutely,
Reddit or wherever.
That'd be great. Yeah, I mean, granted, if he says send me your questions, then he's gonna get like
it's gonna be.
He's
bad.
gonna get an onslaught of negativity also in there. But it would help cut out some of the less people who would feel excited to do that.
I did a ride along and a raid with Bungie, and in both of those, when Rob Adams, who did the Cosmodrome, he was the destination lead for the Cosmodrome, and we played it and walked around and did the Cosmodrome before the ride along, and I knew where we were going, what we were doing. We did prep work ahead of time, so that and then I had set up like these way stations where different community members would drop in. So I had my team prepped in the background with like Dado dropped in, and Miss 5000 Watts dropped in, and we had all these different people at different points along the route where they would drop into the call, ask a couple questions, and then leave, right? And we kind of set that up ahead of time, and I felt like that was really really made for what I thought was a fun and enjoyable experience, maybe. But I don't know.
I'm hoping they do something like this with the raid as well at some point in time.
They kind of hinted at it. Deej hinted at it. He said like a raid along. I don't know if he's really planning on doing it, but he said the words, so I don't know if he's going to actually do it. I would love to see that, though. I think that I want Luke Smith to be on it too, because that would be awesome. I want to hear that.
And I would definitely donate money to a charity to see him get launched by the dick wall. To be honest with you.
Yes.
Step right up to the dick wall.
Every time he gets knocked off is like $5, And
I'd match the donation for that up to a certain amount of time.
Every time you hit the button, it actually activates the dick wall.
Yeah, like I had a control button, and as he's walking along, there you go, Luke. Thanks for all the
Twitch plays dick wall.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that would be great.
No, but we did something similar to that with Crota's End, but it wasn't like a ride along per se. It was billed as a Bungie bounty. Is what it was. It was billed as a PvE Bungie bounty, and which was cool for me because I got that Bungie bounty emblem for it. I never defeated anybody in PvP.
That would be awesome. I mean, I kind of feel like now would have been the perfect timing to do a raid ride along, since like we've had plenty of the raid at this point, so we want to know the intricacies and how it was built. The the ride along for the Cosmodrome Patrol would have been perfect 3 months ago. You know?
Yeah.
Not to down the fact that they're doing
it's
it.
the timing of building the Twitch studio, this being the first thing they do. I think this is like the biggest event they could do is the ride along on the
True.
Aside from a content reveal, which we're not going to get until they're
until they're damn well ready to do a content reveal.
I mean, as far as like a Twitch stream, an interactive Twitch stream, I feel like this is maybe right. Arguably, could be bigger. I mean, I guess it depends on your opinion, but I think it was a pretty big thing, and they just built a Twitch studio, so
I'm happy that they're doing it. I'm very happy that they have the Twitch studio and they're actually doing the stuff now and making it happen. I think that the timing was like kindling to light that awful Twitch chat. It was like
I don't think it matters.
The Santa Ana winds coming down.
I think that Twitch chat is cancer no matter when it happens. It could have happened the day after the Taken King released, and it'd still be cancer.
Once a Twitch chat gets like over 4,000 or so people, really once it's over like 2,000 people, it gets unbelievably difficult to even discern any sort of information from it. Well, next week is it will be a ride-along showing, or not really a ride-along, but they're going to have the audio designers in-house there. And I'm very interested in that.
It's
happening.
an interesting format, too, because they're going to play a vid doc, which we haven't seen one of those in a long time.
A brand new one, right?
Right. It's going to, here's the quote, it's going to tell the story of the team that induces ringing in your ears. So theoretically, the sound team, right? The guys who make the sound effects and the music. But then the second half of the thing is going to be like a sit down with audio director C. Paul Johnson and story lead CJ Cowan, which I found interesting because story lead, that doesn't say sound anywhere in the title.
No, it doesn't.
Story. So I'm not expecting future content out of this, but we might get some insight on past story stuff, which could be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Or it just might be all about how to make guns sound cool.
Which I will watch that for 2 hours.
Imagine if they just like dropped a bomb next week, just during the ride along. They would just be like,
that'd be amazing.
Do you remember back in when Luke Smith did I think they did a ride along, and I forget what it was. It was with when they did the Outpost, and they did the Vestian Outpost and a Prison of Elders. It was that series of Twitch streams. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. It had I think it had Gothalion.
Oh, they showed the first Taken King trailer.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be cool if they chose that time to show us maybe a Vidoc or something that they've been planning for?
I know what they're going to do.
What are they going to do?
They're going to show a graphic with a cool enemy and a date, and it's going to slowly pan out.
Or they're just going to read the grimoire.
Or the grimoire.
Just start reading like a fireside chat with or Uncle Deej sits by the fire in his big 11.
Oh, they need to get that. They need to get that back again.
What do you think? Is that better than...
And welcome to Bungie Community Theatre. Today's letter is addressed to the Consumer Complaints Department.
That up again, I'm sorry, hang on.
I have to reassemble the correspondence probe.
Oh, you see, I'm making a point. I might make a point directly to you. Bam.
While Bungie must admit this is a problem, what you fail to do...
All right, that up. Where should I take it from?
Huh?
And a tiger is staring at the frame.
What's wrong? What's changed? I'm rustling again?
as well as you once did. Now look what you've done. Continuity is in the shit.
Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't know what you were doing. No, the rip page is not in shot. I can confirm that myself. There you go. Okay. Yeah, good. Yeah, there. Okay.
But I do look forward to your reply and a resolution to my problem.
Did we record that?
Yeah.
That actually worked for
Always record during the rehearsal.
Let me try one more time. Yeah. And I'm chewing the out of this thing. I wonder if they're going to let me give this prop back.
As to when or where game was purchased, nor do I have receipt. Okay. Where the did that come from? Raspy Stomp. Bad kitty. When did you grow opposable thumbs?
Can I pet the tiger?
This is one completely inappropriately close shot.
Do I have any nose hairs coming out of my nose? Because that's a problem.
How did I get all wet again?
Seeing Deej sitting there with my, hello there, welcome to Bungie Studio Theater. Yes, today we're reading your viewer mail. Yes, yes, yes.
That would be great. And he's, he's
like
a
if we were
drama.
reading-
I think he's a
reading
drama
chat.
theater major, isn't he?
Yeah,
Deej?
yeah.
Wait, is he a Shakespearean actor?
Oh yes.
So what else has actually gone on in the game? I do want to. I have a small story to tell because something good finally happened to me in Destiny.
Oh no.
Is this 1,000?
Did you get the grasp of Malik?
I got a grasp of Malik, guys.
Oh no!
Oh, I saw
I
that.
got it.
Oh
I
my
got a
God.
grasp of Malik.
It's amazing.
I can't remember why I was streaming, but I was like, I saw Red Glitch, one of my mods, come into chat, and I was like, hey Red, I'm tired of doing whatever I'm doing. Let's go grind 2 blues. You'll kill Omnigul a bunch, and he's like, but Australian, and
Oi,
yeah,
oi, wallaby.
yeah, it sounded like it. we ended up. It took us about an hour and a half to get one grasp to drop, and the first one that dropped, it was a counterbalance, perfect balance, spray and play roll.
That's nice. That's
Wait.
nice.
Yeah, it's fantastic. One of the best possible guns in the game right now, kills people in 3 bursts to the head, and with that archetype, it's just like prip, 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 dead. And these guys were not able to combat it at all.
Thorn, perfect balance.
No, we're not talking about Thorn this week.
Yeah, okay.
We
sure,
had
sure.
too many
Okay,
comments.
I
not
got my own
talking
little
about-
story to tell. I actually went for the very first time and grinded for the Grasp of Malik last night, and I got 2 of them in like 2 hours.
Damn.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
pretty good. I was pretty
Some
happy.
Pope RNG.
Okay, so you got 2 of them.
Yeah.
Were they any good?
Oh yeah, man. One of them it was perfect balance, cruise control, and,
Cruise control?
flux capacitor. It's a pretty damn good roll. Dude, it was such a garbage roll.
You
All I
had
had
me.
was perfect.
You had
balance.
me. for the
With
full
perfect
ride.
balance on it. It's a pretty nasty
good.
weapon all by itself, but that was the only good perk on it.
Okay.
So, I got a 1,000-yard stare, and people
Of
were
course.
asking me why it was something that I liked, and this is why. So I'm going to throw it up here on the screen.
Describe it to me because I don't feel like looking
Right. So it has a short gaze, and I like to be more not sit back and snipe. I like to move up and be more engaged in the fight. So you're getting hit a lot. So I got Eye of the Storm on there, and this weapon becomes more accurate as your health gets lower. And I got Quick Draw, which I really like because it makes the snap up. It makes it really snappy.
Yes, we know what quick
Right.
draw is.
Oh yeah.
And then-
Okay. Yeah.
And
Sounds
then
good.
and then I got Unflinching, which allows you to keep your shot on target as you get hit. So
Will the mods in chat please ban Poke Bear?
okay,
Yes,
sorry.
please.
Thank you.
So
Don't actually do that though. It makes a lot of problems.
So, no, I know that some people there's 2 perks on there that I wanted to talk about because people were questioning my excitement for the role in chat. And Eye of the Storm and Unflinching are 2 that
when you combine them together, they're really strong.
right. So individually they are underperforming, but together they actually create a significant change to the weapon. Also, Unflinching, in my opinion, is something that's probably going to get some sort of buff, as well as there's been a lot of issues with snipers being able to hit shots that they shouldn't when the user is taking damage. And I think that Unflinching was supposed to be one of those perks that you put in to combat that, right? And I don't see it. I see them making that a change in some future update. I have to believe that it's there. So I'm really excited about that, and that made my week.
I see people in the chat saying unflinching doesn't even work, or that it doesn't work. It actually does. It perks that affect accuracy, like Eye of the Storm, unflinching, a couple other ones. There's no visual representation that they actually work. Unflinching is particularly weird because your pattern of being flinched doesn't actually change, but the actual speed of you being flinched actually changes. It's something that you won't notice. You just simply won't notice it for the most part.
Question about unflinching. How much flinch does it take off?
Aim deflection. It's aim deflection, so it's like if you're sniping or some version of sniping, depending on what it's applied to, then you don't get kicked off target as much. So you are unconcerned. You are unflinching when faced with incoming enemy fire.
We're going to scale down the amount you get kicked if you have that perk on, and also how far you're zoomed from your scope is going to affect the severity of kick from any incoming projectile. So kick on a sniper is going to be way more severe than it is on a pulse rifle or a scout rifle.
If I'm trying to cause flinch in someone else, am I trying to hit them as many times as I can? Am I trying to do the most amount of damage or trying to break their shield?
Yes.
You know, is a high rate of fire auto rifle the best way to go, or can I match it with a scout?
All of those.
Yeah, I mean it depends. So every weapon has a different amount that it moves it by, and then there are perks that increase it.
With each type of projectile, there's a payload that's going to be delivered to the aim deflection system. And that, I would say that the amount of that payload is equal in proportion to the amount of damage that projectile does. So heavy machine gun is gonna like slaughter your aim deflection. A sniper round is gonna kick you really hard. Auto rifle is not gonna do a huge jump, but you'll be delivering a lot of shots in rapid succession, so you'll still be able to be pretty effective at moving their aim a little bit. Another subtlety about aim deflection too is that you're gonna get hit harder depending on the direction you're being shot from. If you're being shot straight on, head to head, it doesn't actually move your camera as much as it does if you're being flanked.
You know, if you're getting shot from the right, then your camera's going to knock left as if you're getting hit in the head from that side. So your camera will do that, and then you'll actually slowly ease in that direction. If you had enough health to just stand there and get murdered by a heavy machine gun, you would eventually turn to face the attacker.
Yeah.
I didn't get a god roll of Waylorn's March, but even if I did, it's Waylorn's March, you know?
Oh yeah, we could talk about Iron Banner a little bit.
Yeah, I'm down to talk about Iron Banner. Right. I mean,
just go ahead and start it off. Go ahead.
In terms of like any kind of RNG drops, I didn't get anything glorious that I would actually be like, guys, look at my toy, and you guys would be like, whoa, that's awesome.
It's awesome, and then Pope would be like, hey, I think I got something too. Shows us like 5 god roll snipers
so
that
that's
are
pretty
also
good
shotguns.
if you're a peasant.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty good if you're a casual.
Awesome. Wow. But aside from that, Iron Banner, Iron Banner Clash. I actually enjoyed it this week, quite a bit, and I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. But it's weird. It's as if there's a garbage container that just keeps on getting filled up with Iron Banner matchmaking, and they can't flush it. Like they can't flush the toilet until the end of the Iron Banner event, because the first day it feels completely different all the way up into the last day. I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe it's population draining, or if it's just straight up the matchmaking is getting adjusted and changed.
I think that the matchmaking actually got changed like halfway through this one.
Did it?
It feels like it did. I have heard so many reports of it feel like the first 2-ish days, the matchmaking was great. Like the first day, second day, possibly partial way through the third day, it felt good. Mm-hmm. But then after that,
the weekend
started getting weird, man.
It felt like the Iron Banner again.
Awful.
Yeah, felt like Iron Banner again.
I was like, this is not the same. I mean, I got to rank 5 on all 3 PS4 characters by Friday night. And then I was already rank like 2, I think, on my Hunter for Xbox. And a little bit on the other characters. So I started working on the Xbox. A combination of things. I had some internet problems because Comcast, I think, has officially been throttling my upload speed towards the end of the month.
Nice.
Once I hit over 350 gigabytes of upload, because I calculated out, I'm averaging about 300 to 350 upload just on streaming alone each month.
Yep. What's what I'm at?
Yeah, so that that sucked. But also before the throttle happened, the matchmaking just was completely different on the weekend. And again, it might have been Trials of Osiris, but I honestly feel like every day there's a blockage, and they're not willing to hit the flush button to make sure the blockage goes away until Iron Banner
they
gets
clearly
reset.
made a change, right? Everybody feels the same way. Is that Tuesday was good, Wednesday was good, Thursday it went to shit, and it stayed shitty for the rest of the weekend. You know, there's multiple YouTubers who posted videos of them running around. The only way they could damage anybody was with grenades. They were invisible. I saw plenty of people just like warping around the screen. Like I put up one clip. I think I put it up on my YouTube channel. This guy, he's behind a truck. He somehow shoots me through the truck.
Mm-hmm.
I die, and then his body, you know how it outlines his body in red, it warps to behind me, and he's got a shotgun behind me. It's like, like what am I supposed to do about that?
Sounds about right.
That did not happen on Tuesday. It did not happen on Wednesday.
I know. And it felt good to play on Tuesday, Wednesday.
God forbid you get one of the maps that just doesn't work with Clash. Black Shield is still the worst possible map for Clash. Please remove the doors from it. Bungie.
Yes.
I am tired of seeing that map pop up.
You've done it before, Bungie. You've modified maps to make for better play on a map.
You
on
did
Mars.
Yep.
You've done it on Mars.
You did it with Blind Watch.
Yeah.
Do it to Black Shield. Take the doors out because they don't belong.
Cauldron also. Just take them out if that map ever pulls up.
Yep, sure. I am happy with that as well. Doors should not be in this PvP game.
The Taken mostly had like beads hanging down, kind of hippie-ish, but whatever.
Hippie space beads.
Yeah,
you
space
know what
beads
those
hanging
hive
on
are
the door.
smoking.
Yeah, yeah.
So I love the Waylearn's March. It's my new favorite thing. I love it. It's so much fun. I've got Snapshot on mine. I just run around with Snapshot. Pew pew pew. It's like I just gotta like kind of look at you funny, and I get a headshot with it. It's really great. Love it.
I think it's like, yeah, it is fun, but I just feel like half the time with the connections how they are right now, it's literally playing RNG shots with a sniper. And it's just like, is this match 50% of your headshots that should register are not going to register? And I don't know, it gets. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Like I feel like I've said this in the past 5 podcasts about the connections like that. It is fun though. It is fun, Briar. I do.
Yeah,
agree.
I really like it. I didn't dig on the rocket launcher too much. I had no real use for it. But
The rocket launcher actually has a really big problem where if you get tripod,
only 2 rockets loaded. Right?
you only get 2 rockets.
Oh.
No, it's not bugged. It has one of the lowest ammo
capacity
It's
stats.
1 rocket.
So when you load it, even though the tripod doesn't affect it enough to actually make that stat go up enough to get 3 rockets in PvP, so you don't get a full mag of rockets.
What a lie.
Yeah, feels
There's
good,
no
man.
tripod in there.
There's no tripod.
That's a real bummer, man. Why is there all these machine gun bullets in my rocket launcher? This is bugged.
Yeah.
Bungie, fix this.
I did not
Feels
get
bad,
away.
man.
I did not get away Lawrence March. Well,
You
I
didn't
got
get any?
Okay, I will be specific. I got 5 Way Lawrence Marches. And truth be told, one of them was the quote unquote God roll with Hidden Hand, Grenadier, 2 very good perks on it. It had Snapshot, but then all the scopes were just like the longest possible ranges in their category.
Yeah.
And the low zoom scope was Taxus. I'm not about that. So I didn't get a good enough Way Lawrence that would make me go, I would like to switch from whatever snipers I'm currently using. So yeah.
I think it's fun to use a really high aim assist sniper rifle every now and then, but again, I know I talk about the connections all the time, but I feel like when you get into a lobby that changes because of connections, aim assist also changes and effectively makes that sniper just respond differently. So I feel like it's better to use like a 50 aim assist or lower sniper consistently. Yeah. Also,
it's my new favorite scout rifle. It's super fun.
it definitely acts like that.
I had
which
a
is
ton
awesome.
of fun in Iron Banner. I think think the grinding through the different levels to get the gear, and I was like, I see Fitzy in the chat, and I'm sure we're wanting to kind of report out what he saw.
We need to. We need to.
Yeah. So there's I had a abnormally low like drop rate. I mean, for me, it just felt like I didn't really get.
Oh, would you only get 10?
Yeah, just
I brought
just shy of a baker's dozen.
I brought 2 characters up to 5, 4 rocket launchers, like 4 snipers, and like arms and stuff kept dropping, but nothing like. So of those that I got, I don't think I wanted any of them. Like, they weren't any that I really felt were like better than something that I already had. So
I brought 3 characters up to 5.
Right.
Got 1 sniper rifle and 1 rocket launcher.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I had it bad.
I actually got that exact roll to drop for me. Like, that was one of my 5 was the vendor one. Exact rolls, everything.
Wow. Rip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I wasn't even pissed off, Pope. I got like half the drops you got, and I wasn't even pissed off.
Yeah, me neither.
That was just an average week, man.
Well,
I was like, okay,
good.
I got some stuff.
Yeah, I finished up the week, and I was like, man, dude, I don't even want to rank up my 3rd character. It's not even worth it.
So Fitzy, we had him on last time Iron Banner was around. He had done 300 games and recorded all the data. Long story short, the data showed the drop percentage sucked for if you were actually trying to get anything. He did 300 games again, this time as Clash, which is for one thing, Fitzy, Jesus, how did you do 300 games as Clash? Like, as Rift, you can goose those games easy as hell, but Clash, that's just that is an exercise in frustration to try.
That's a lot of delivery pizza right there.
Yeah, that is a lot of running to the.
I'm gonna put his results up on the screen. Okay, taking a look at this spreadsheet, what pops out to you?
13 iron shells.
Yep, me too.
Yeah. Which we really need after playing Crimson Devils.
To be fair, though, you should be able to get a shell if that's the one that you like the look of, and maybe you didn't get a good enough shell that had the right stats, yada yada.
True.
Does he have the ship in there? Yeah, he got 4 of the ships.
Got 4?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I still haven't gotten one of those.
I still haven't gotten one either.
But let's
that seems to be one of the rare drops.
Yeah, but what we should consider here is the drop rate to how many games he had to play to get this stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's awful.
What does an average person play? What does an average person play? Like, how
rank
many
5
games
one
does
character
a person play in a week?
Yeah. What is that? 30 games for one character?
Like just on a good for an average character, probably about 30 games get to rank 5, and you're not doing it on the first day.
Yeah, literally 10% of what he did, which means awful drop rates.
Which means you're usually not seeing anything drop.
Yeah, you're not walking away with anything that you're excited about.
Gloves.
In the past, it hasn't been that bad because the vendor rolls were pretty good. Like, you think of
this has been the first week where the vendor rolls were just,
Like, I played Iron Banner because I wanted a good Whaler's March. I wanted a good one, and I played basically until I got one. You know, kind of connected to this conversation. I don't want to move off of it too quickly, but one of the things in this week's not weekly update, this week at Bungie, is they said they're moving the matchmaking in a hot fix on Tuesday into the rest of the Crucible. But
across the board, right?
Which matchmaking are they moving over?
Yeah,
the one at the beginning of the week or the one at the end of the week?
I'm scared.
I'm glad you guys are confused about this too, because I read that and I was like, whoa, I think I missed something in between the last couple of days during my, like, maybe the Bungie bounty or, you know, the ride along said some sort of information that I clearly did not see, because I read that and I was like, wait, the Iron Banner that we just experienced? Because towards the end, that was garbage. And how it's saying it's there's no way it's favoring skill-based matchmaking over connection, which was like, I was like, really? Like, where in the Crucible right now can we experience that?
I
So I
wasn't
can
seeing a
verify
whole
that.
lot of teams this week either because it was such a solo-friendly thing that I'd go into. I played a lot of Iron Banner solo just to get that grind going, and I'd look at the list of players, and maybe there's a couple of 2s, a couple of 3s in there, but it wasn't like full teams of 6 that I was seeing this awful lag in. So, I'm taking that excuse off the table for this time around.
There was a really interesting post on Reddit today of someone who uses a NetDoomer router. Reddit user Joseph421. I'm assuming he's using a NetDoomer router because he's giving the exact locations of these people that he's matching against. But he played 10 matches, and this was in Control. And the title of the post is Crucible, a tour of the world via Control. Match 1 was a fire team from the USA, Texas, Canada, Colorado, Indiana. 3 members from Canada. I don't know the provinces that well. Mexico, Guatemala, Brazil, New Zealand, and Finland. And then it basically
exotic.
You just go down the list, and it gets pretty exotic. It gets pretty exotic, man. Estonia isn't very exotic, but Malaysia.
If I play somebody from
Singapore,
a country that I
Indonesia.
can't point to on the map, I feel like I should get an exotic drop. If I don't know how to find that country on a map, I want an exotic.
Yeah, there's some pretty fun games in there. We got USA, Mexico, Japan, Kuwait, Mongolia, Australia, Singapore, Indonesia, and Saudi Arabia, all in one match.
Fantastic, right? That sounds
we're bringing
very
together
fair.
cultures here.
At what point does the damage referee decide who's on which side?
Who's the one that we're
It's
rooting
like
for
both
here?
sides have a god on their side.
Who paid the damage ref off? But the top post is seriously, or what the fuck, serious Bungie? Can you at least restrict the skill-based matchmaking to my continent? I agree with the last part of the statement, aside from the what the fuck. I do agree with the what the fuck, because it's like, how does that even work? How am I getting matched with these people? Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's definitely fun for if you're a streamer or a YouTuber or if you have any role in the community where people recognize you. It's definitely fun to match up with people overseas because they tend to be, most people tend to be really polite in the message they send you, like, hey, love the show, whatever. But
good game.
In-game,
teabags are real.
They're real.
They're vicious teabags.
It's not even the teabags
that shit
for
hurts
me.
too.
It hurts a lot.
Yeah. You like this? You like this, streamer?
Like it, don't you?
Hey, look at me! Look at me! I'm
like it when I
teabagging
teabag
all
you,
up in
streamer?
Yeah.
It's not even the teabagging for me. It's just like I fully recognize that the opponent that I am playing against is on my skill level, and this is awesome. And I fully recognize that person is no way in hell in the U.S. because this just doesn't work. That green bar is a damn lie.
We talk about this a lot. I feel like we're harping on them pretty hard this time, but it is real, man. Like it's frustrating how the first couple of days of Iron Banner was so good and it just went to shit.
But I'm telling you though,
it's very frustrating.
I really believe that they're working incrementally to make it better. And
I'm with you, Pope.
And it is a long way from where it was, in my opinion. On my experience,
since December
to
it was
where we
awful.
are, and if Bungie's a lot like moving a battleship in the harbor. It takes a lot of people to do it, and it's deliberate. And when it gets there, it's gonna get there right. And I feel like they're at least working towards that end, and I appreciate that.
They just got to pay for a tug, get them out of that harbor.
Yep.
They need a good tugging, yeah.
You need a good tug.
They need a good tug.
Mm-hmm. Always, we all do.
That always
helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What else are we doing in the game or in the world of Destiny?
In the world of Destiny.
Well, there was
I discovered I need to get all my swords. I still only have one sword. I have the Void Sword.
How do you only have one sword? I really enjoy using those swords in like the weekly when there's a damage burn associated with it. And this week is the Void Burn, So that Void Sword it annihilates those Scions. It's pretty fun.
Oh,
Oh, that's what I got this week.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, shut up. God.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You got to ruin everything, Pope.
Every time.
Patrick, it's you. I didn't get anything. Go.
Every time.
No,
Hey, I finally
I'm
got
just
this
kidding.
thing.
I'm just kidding.
And Pope's like, oh yeah, I got all 3 of them this week. What on every character?
I did. I'm sorry. I was so excited. I got the Void one, and I'm so sorry. Patrick, it's a great story. Tell it. Go.
No, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore, man.
Well,
it doesn't matter. I finally got my Sailor Moon solar pom-poms. And no, yeah.
Yeah, good. Congratulations, Patrick. Good job, man.
Damn it, Pope.
So
gotta work on this, man.
I got the Void one. I had the Arc and the Solar, and I got the Void one just randomly.
He already has the other 2. He already has the other 2.
Casually had the other 2.
So I got the third.
Well,
sorry, I hit my mic there. Oh my god.
What do you guys think about those strike items? Do you think they're too hard to get, or do you like how they're hard to get to make them rare? I like that. I like the fact that there are things in the game that you legitimately have to sit there and really work at.
I like it. I also think it, for some people, it's just shit luck. And I think Triple Rex's still been going after that Grass of Malak god roll.
Well, he's gotten tons of them.
He has gotten
just
tons
looking
of
for
them.
a specific roll. The numbers on that are pretty low to get that.
Yeah,
but it's also it melts.
Yeah, it melts. It's worth the grind. I think. Let's see. Last week, SC Slayer Age how many runs did he end up doing? Well over 1,000 something runs. There's more than that. Red Glitch here in chat. Whisper me the info of how many he ran so I can properly display that information. Ooh. But yeah, it was. He ended up getting his group in total got something like 500 of them to drop. 0 of them. 0 were the God roll or were the Fatebringer roll. So
the Imago loop you're talking about.
Yeah, the Imago loop. 1,200 mind kills, and yeah, the whole group got I think 500 something plus 500 plus to drop.
You know, it's funny because if you look in my chat when I'm streaming, it's like everybody's got one except for me. I thought they were the most common thing in the world.
I genuinely think that there's something in the game that makes it so like if you play more, drops, like really good drops are less, and if you play less, really good drops happen more often. Tefty,
except for Pope.
Yeah, except for Pope. Except for the system doesn't work there. But
I feel that too, man. I really feel like there is some sort of bug in the loot table where if your playtime exceeds a certain amount or you've experienced certain encounters in the game, that there's an actual bug in the loot table.
Yeah, now because like how memes, your wife has gotten some seriously good rolls on
insane rolls,
insane god rolls. She doesn't play the game a lot.
Hawksaw, 1,000-yard stare. She got the Vex and the Fatebringer first try. Like in the same run, like it's insane.
I know this is probably just confirmation bias, but like it really does feel like that sometimes.
Yeah. See, I don't think it's intentional. But back in Borderlands 2, there was a bug with the Infinity pistol, and for some people, it did drop from a particular boss, or it was like a major character, a named character. But for most people, it was just completely bugged, where it would not drop at all. Yet people grinded it, and it was a bug in the loot table. So it legitimately happens where the loot table can get bugged for some reason, some sort of step in the process, because it goes through a filter of lists of reasons to drop certain types of gear and percentages that it goes through. So somewhere in there, a variable can get stuck and be like, this pathway is completely cut off forever. You know, or it's been like shrunken down to 1/10 or 100th of the percentage of what it should be.
Never would have believed if you asked me this time last year that so many people would be looking for No Land Beyond, because that thing used to drop like crazy. It was like that and Dragon's Breath were the only 2 drops you'd ever see drop off of Crota.
They were the takeaway gifts. They were the thank you for playing. They're like, thanks for trying. Have a No Land Beyond.
Every once in a while, I run across a piece of legendary armor, something like that I'm like, oh, I really like the, I really like the discipline strength split on this. I really like, that it's got, extra machine gun ammo, something like that. And it's got solar armor, so I'm gonna rank this one up because I really like it. And a really fast way to do that is if you have exotics that are 310 that you've saved up from getting 310 or 3 coins. It's a really fast and easy way to do it. So I kind of try and remember to always be popping those things, even though I don't really need them right now. It's nice to have those things ready to go when I do want to rank something up. And you can transfer them between characters. It doesn't matter. As long as it's legs for legs and chest for chest, so on.
Yeah, and last time they updated the exotic pool, it's still, those engrams still dropped. So it wasn't, we didn't see a dated engram thing until it was like a major release. Like it was from year 1 to year 2 is when they put it like a mark. Actually, no, they might have done that with House of Wolves. Yeah, actually, from Dark Below to House of Wolves, there was dated timestamps on the engrams. So it's like major releases that include expansions. So right now, if they do an update to the exotic pool, your exotic engrams still can't drop the new ones.
And really, at this point, I've got nothing I can buy from Xur, so strange coins, that's really the only thing I use strange coins on.
The only thing that I'm... So I guess this is a good topic, because this is a good place that we're at before the next big content thing's supposed to happen. Are you guys hoarding anything, like, for when the spring content patch drops, to try to get a head start?
I haven't really thought about it yet. I think we'll know more, like, once we start seeing how the economy's going to change. Like, last time, they really threw a wrench in things by putting packages with the vendor instead of being able to save them up at the postmaster. They changed to legendary marks. They made a lot of changes last time that kind of threw a wrench in that kind of stuff.
In the spring, I assume there's going to be a vendor reset. And then I can look at all the new vendor weapons and all the new factions and go, I like that particular weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to grind for it. And then just all the heavy ammo synths. Just turn all the heavy ammo synths in.
Very smart.
And then there you go.
Yep.
That is smart. That's real smart. And
probably
hopefully get a good roll on it too, right?
I feel like Motes of Light are easier to rank up the faction vendors.
Oh, they are.
So I've been
They
been sitting on I don't know, just sitting on my Motes of Light, and I used to upgrade everything that I saw. I'm a little more prejudiced as to what I upgrade, but now, so I'm kind of trying to keep my Motes of Light over 1,000, just kind of sitting at a spot where
I keep them at like 1,600 on my main character, and then what I do is I'll try to get a full inventory of legendaries, and then get three telemetries, a primary, a special, and a heavy, and equip all new weapons, level them up, equip all new weapons, level them up, equip all new weapons, level them up, and then dismantle all of them for you get motes of light, you get legendary marks, you get weapon parts, you get armor parts for the armor. Fun fact, guys, if you have a weapon telemetry on, your armor will level faster with motes of light leveling.
I didn't know that, really.
Yep. It's actually a very significant change, so it's worth doing it. And then you'll be able to you'll be able to buy all the special engrams from the Cryptarch and eternally be depressed if you're me, and just eternally be, I don't know, whatever Pope is. I guess that's happy.
He's the grass is greener.
The grass is greener, definitely.
I'm not really happy until, I just think that that's my reality, and then when you guys bring me joy.
It's like how rich people say money doesn't bring you happiness, and poor people are like, fuck you, yes it does.
It's a little bit of truth there from Pope. A little bit of truth.
Can we talk? I don't know if this is the right time, but I posed a really interesting question because Cosmo threw out a couple questions about Hawkmoon and Thorn.
Yes.
And it got me thinking about primaries altogether. And I threw out a Twitter poll about what is your favorite primary to use in the game, if all things were equal. Like, if the game was balanced, I wanted to know why people liked the guns that they liked. And if this is a good time, I want to talk about it because I thought it was pretty interesting conversation. And I'm going to throw up the results of the Twitter poll. About just over 8,000 people voted. And what I thought was fascinating is I went through hundreds of responses, and I read all of them, read as many as I could. And I want to talk a little bit about what came out of that and the reason why I think this. Well, let's just go there.
Yeah, just go ahead and put it up. Just go ahead and put it up.
So,
and please read it off because I don't have the stream pulled up right now.
My Twitter post was favorite primary weapon class. If all things were balanced, vote here and reply with why. Pretty darn close to each other. 21% were auto rifles, 28% scout rifles, 18% pulse rifles, and 33% hand cannons. Why the hand cannons winning out didn't surprise me, but it surprised me how close scout rifles and the other guns were to it. I thought it would have blown it out a little bit more than that.
Like I would have thought it would have been around 40%.
Way I was thinking that pulse rifles were going to be much higher on this list, especially considering we had that pulse rifle meta for so long this fall, and to see them so unpopular. Maybe it's a reaction to pulse rifles being so strong in the meta. Maybe people got sick of them. Maybe people miss hand cannons.
I think it's a carryover from year one.
Yeah, pulse rifles in year one were just
they're garbage.
Awful for the first 3/4 of the year one, and pretty much until the House of Wolves patch.
Yeah, but they've been good for 6 months at least now.
They have, but there's kind of a romanticism with the hand cannon class itself.
There is. There absolutely is.
Yeah, it feels very satisfying to use it, and it's one of the few weapon types where you kind of have a connection with the weapon. In my opinion, I enjoy using hand cannons just for all the esoteric, visceral reasons instead of logical reasons like I would with scouts and autos.
Well, that's what I thought was interesting, and I'm going to ask you guys to chime in on this here. But some of the responses from the community were there were these visceral feelings as to how it makes them feel, right? Mm-hmm. It was really interesting. Yep. Scout rifles, ranged engagements are most strategic and skill-based, in my opinion, therefore the most enjoyable. So it really got me a chance to see what weapon classes were preferred in different playstyles. Another post says auto rifles are my favorite. I prefer to get up and close and personal, but still have some range. There was a lot of people that went into very specific types of guns. Like one person wrote scout rifles, specifically heavy hitting ones, mainly because my love of the Vision of Confluence, right? And you start drawing into more specific gun types. Like scouts have always been my favorite. My first legendary was the A.19X and my first exotics were Mida. And it feels like what people got first in that RNG rule and they got used to, it's like this nostalgic part of them. And it really kind of shook up how I thought the majority of the community was floating from meta to meta, right?
Well, we follow the meta so we can win in the Crucible, but you still have those loves.
That's part of it, but there's that visceral connection. There's the falling in love with your first weapon, and then there's the sheer cool factor. If you aren't a regular Destiny player, but you watch Destiny streams, guaranteed when you see the last word fire and that hip fire action, you're immediately in love with that action. You see that, you're flip. That is just sick.
I remember seeing the community's response to seeing the last word in. It was like the week before the game came out. They finally showed it. It was like a half-second clip of just someone mowing down a legionnaire or something like that, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, that's that exotic hand cannon! That last word, oh, that's so awesome!" And like, there's a very clear reaction to that gun,
and it is both from watching somebody use the last word successfully and using it successfully with the hipfire. it feels very satisfying. So I'm not surprised at all that the hand cannons are still dominant right there, because I think a lot of that is seeing Last Word. When Hawkmoon was raining, Hawkmoon was very satisfying to watch and see it fire and the sound and all that. Yeah.
The sound plays a big part, I feel like, to the Hawkmoon too. It sounds so good.
It feels like you're punching holes through time and space.
Yeah. Thorn too. Thorn has a very distinct sound. The lore around Thorn and the look of Thorn is completely unique.
Yeah.
The hand cannons are cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got some good stuff going on.
And it's interesting when you said like the first thing that you got to drop. Mine wasn't a hand cannon. I didn't start using hand cannons until one of my friends was like, "Hey, I think this is good. You should try it." And then I ended up doing it. But basically the first month of the game was me using pulse rifles of all things. That was painful.
First vendor bought weapon I bought was the Devil You Know, and it was my go-to, especially in Nightfalls. It was my go-to weapon for the longest time.
Yep. That was one of the few year one weapons, or one of the few weapons that I ascended in House of Wolves up to that level.
I did too.
Because it was the Devil You Know is still the hallmark of the perfect hand cannon, and at least as far as gameplay reasons are concerned. It didn't have an insane range. It felt very balanced as far as range and accuracy went. The 12-round magazine meant, you had a little bit of ammo to play with if you weren't that accurate with your shots, and just the overall feel of the weapon. Everything was balanced. Every hand cannon, every review that I did on a hand cannon, I judged them off the Devil You Know, because it was perfect the way it was.
The Lord High Fixer was another really cool one from that time period with that long barrel to it.
Yep.
Very cool.
Also, this is the obvious one, but when people discovered the Fatebringer, because it was a while, like there was just these weapons that were out there and these cool exotics, and then suddenly the Fatebringer showed up, and people were like,
"Whoa,
Firefly and Arc
this
on this where do you get this?" And then it was difficult also, and there was this excitement over whether or not a Fatebringer would actually drop for somebody in hard mode on Templar. It was interesting. It was like a perfect storm of those combining to make like that emotional response to that gun.
Do you guys think they need to bring back burns on primary weapons from the raid? They got to do something, because these raid weapons were not exciting enough.
Oh yeah, because they also suck. Just straight up, they suck.
They gotta have something to them, because
primaries you're talking about, right?
I mean,
Yasmin's pretty good.
It's okay, but
shotgun's pretty good.
The shotgun, really?
Mm-hmm.
I've never used a shotgun.
Well,
the Defiance of Yasmin is pretty good. Like the scope is cool.
Are you comparing it to PvP or PvE?
Well, the Defiance of Yasmin is good, I think, for PvP. But for PvE,
Not for
I think
PvE?
it's lackluster.
No, I think it's fantastic for PvE.
I don't like it. Like using it in the raid, like I can't one shot a knight in the head. I can if I use a high powered sniper rifle. I like Cocoon on a sniper rifle, but it's not worth it to me because I just end up firing more shots with that thing because it just doesn't have the impact that I want.
I still like the Smiter Miranda.
If you get Firefly on that thing, that's a damn good PvE weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that they're.
But it's no Fatebringer.
No, because I think the Vault of Glass weapons
or
are
Vision
almost
of
game breaking.
Yeah, it's no Vision of Confluence.
No Vision of Confluence.
They learned from the Vault of Glass.
All I'm saying is nobody's getting excited over raid drops.
Yeah. Do you think
that's
partly because of the infusion
You're
system?
not seeing videos on YouTube where people are screaming at the screen after they saw a Vex Mythoclast or a Fatebringer drop.
It's actually kind of interesting. People aren't excited about the drop itself. They're excited about the light level of the drop.
Then they're going to infuse it into the weapon that they actually like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like how the infusion system adds all these possibilities, but at the same time, I don't feel like I have what Year One had right now. And I don't know if it's because of rose-colored glasses or if it's just straight up the system is different.
Part of it was the mystique, right? You didn't know about these things. We were learning on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is not the case right now. We pretty much know what to expect. The first time you see one of these weapons drop, you're like, these perks are kind of shitty. You know, like.
Oh yeah. Well, that auto rifle is god awful.
It is.
So on Tuesday, since Dado was out of town, I kind of hijacked math class and did the raid time day on the PlanetDestiny channel. One of the guys got the hand cannon to drop. I did not know that hand cannon could drop with hip fire accuracy on it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Why is that a possibility? I was flabbergasted when that hand cannon dropped with hip fire. Just why?
That gun looks so cool too. I love the reload animation. I love everything about that gun except for actually using it.
Yep. No, it sounds cool as shit. Like when you actually shoot the thing, you're like, yeah, this feels good. And after that point, though, when you have to reload it, everything goes. It becomes like an unforgivable sin. No matter
even if you have perks on your gloves that speed up that reload, it's still like bizarrely slow.
They say he's still trying to reload it to this day.
I feel like it kind of looks like a Hive appetizer at like some sort of Hive buffet.
Like a little pistol strip or something.
You know what I mean? I feel like they pop these and chew them, you know?
Peel and eat. Oh, man, they cheaped out.
That's why the reload speed is so slow.
I miss my shadow price. You know, I miss. I definitely miss some of the auto rifles that were the medium fire rate class. And I think that it would be nice to see those being effective again. You guys know how I feel about the Doctrine of Passing, but if it's not a bullet hose, it's not viable. And it's really interesting how they've adjusted guns, and it seems like the changes they make are these global changes to classes. And the reason why I ran the poll and the reason why I wanted to talk to you guys about it is why are they looking at the updates to guns in a very... I guess I just want to talk about what is their philosophy for updating these guns, because in my opinion, you look at the community and their reactions to what is their favorite primary class, right? And they look at it from a feeling of that gun that makes them want to do it. And they kind of fall into these very specific categories. You choose scout rifles or hand cannons because of one reason or another, but they tend to be all the same reason. It's a visceral feeling. Right. I just think that applying that visceral reason why the community loves that certain archetype of gun and accentuating that and pushing that forward and having that be the impetus for the change would make the community happier and maybe give you the guiding direction for how that change is to happen. If you're making these gross changes to the overall weapon class, you're really affecting people's enjoyment of the game. And it's when really the offending guns are only a handful within each class.
Yeah, if you remember Necrochasm, if you remember Necrochasm when it first came out, it technically had the quickest time to kill, but its actual use was garbage. Just nobody would actually truly use it. And then Taken King comes around and it gets buffed, and it's technically better than the Doctrine of Passing, and very satisfying to use. Very satisfying, because when you proc that Cursed Oil Explosion, I'm actually in the process of doing a review for it for PlanetDestiny, and that's a prime example of them taking data, saying the time to kill is theoretically the fastest in the game, yet nobody would actually use it because the data doesn't translate to visceral feeling of that gun.
It's like the pulse rifles right now. The low rate of fire ones. How technically, yes, they can kill in two bursts to the head. Not practical, not possible because of things like recoil, player movement. You know, the game cannot exist on spreadsheets alone. You have to eventually actually go in there and shoot stuff, and yeah.
I think that those slower firing pulse rifles are always going to be hard to balance properly, because just the amount of time it takes for them to fire, like they just don't have a whole lot of wiggle room. If they, it's like 0.4 seconds between bursts on those things. So it's like if you get them 2 bursts, then it's less than a half a second to kill. If you make them 3 bursts, then
it's supposed to be a high risk. It's supposed to be a high risk, high reward type weapon. Problem is, there's no reward, as the faster rate of fire ones do exactly what they do, but better.
I think Covalent's duty does a good job in the scout rifle categories. It can kill in 3 shots to the head, but it's very hard to get that. And if you miss one, your time to kill goes out the window. Like you're screwed. Yeah.
I guess I guess to kind of wrap up that piece, what I learned from it and what I hope that Bungie takes away from this is that possibly one way of going about taking a look at guns is, like you guys are saying, stepping away, maybe using the data and the spreadsheets to inform. But what if there was another component into that decision making that involved community play styles? Okay, so you have these types of players, these types of players, and these types of players that are typically going to meet each other in this space in the game, right? They're going to be close quarters combat people. And these types of players use these types of guns. And those types of guns should be balanced so that they can use those types of guns when they're playing. And they enjoy these types of things when they're playing it. They like the sound and the feeling and the movement. And, it just feels like they missed it. They're one-dimensional. Maybe it just feels like it's one-dimensional nerfing of classes and adjustments of guns when there should be this other component of the user experience being taken into account. I don't know.
I would agree with that, Pope. I think, like if you look at what they're going to do to the Doctrine of Passing, it's almost predictable, right? Is they're going to try and balance that gun with the rest of auto rifles and the rest of the meta.
I know.
They're going to end up ruining that gun,
right?
And something else will emerge in the meta, right?
Right.
Like it's going to happen, so you might as well enjoy it while you got it.
Right. And let's use the Doctrine of Passing as a prime example. Where does it live? What type of player uses that gun? And where should they be successful in using that gun? It's a high fire rate auto rifle that rewards tracking an opponent and time on target, like being able to track an opponent. That's the skill it's rewarding. It lives in the space with Last Word, which has a time to kill that if you don't land a shot, it's not tracking an opponent, it's landing precision shots, and you win it, and you win that gunfight. It lives in a space with shotguns, with fusion rifles. It lives in a space, and it pushes it out a little bit to the mid-range. So is it the problem of the gun itself? That the space that the players use it in is not, it's broken in that space? I would say it's not. If you take a look at the user experience, it's viable amongst other people that work in that space. Now, where it's broken, not broken, I hate to use that word, where it needs adjustment, is that it extends past that range further than it should. It can still be effective. Drawing that gun's minimal adjustment needs to be its effective range. The damage, the fall off of its bullets needs to be brought in just a little bit. And that you're a close quarters person. You're either going to pick up the Last Word, you're going to bring out your shotgun, you're going to bring out, and then you're going to have an auto rifle.
I would hate to see him do that, Pope, because I feel like the trade-off I'm making is that I could kill faster with the Last Word at close range, but I picked the Doctrine so I have a little bit more medium range effectiveness. So if they took away that medium range effectiveness, everybody's using the Last Word. There's no reason to use Doctrine anymore.
Yeah, but I think they would have to do that to the Last Word also. Last
yeah,
Word still
that's what I'm saying.
Works a little bit too.
It's got
far.
a little long range.
And that was my point, is that, Briar, is that not to take a look at one class, like limit your focus with blinders on, is like, oh, we got to nerf this gun, but look at the play space that they work in and the other guns that are supposed to be effective in that play space, and make them viable. So make the player choose where they're going, what their going to play style is going to be. There should be a risk reward.
I think it's smart. I think what's going on though is they are I think they're trying to play catch up largely. I feel like they've been trying to play catch up for a year and a half, and they're not to a point yet where they can be like, okay, let's drill into these very specific things. Like right now, I feel like they're drilling into connections, and weapon balancing is kind of like on the side where they're like, well, another team is working on some broader changes, but I don't know. It would be great. It'd be great if they started talking about this stuff very vocally.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody who got involved in the Twitter discussion. That was very, very informative for me.
Should we move to Twitter questions? Speaking of Twitter questions and conversations.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, nobody tweeted at us this week. So.
Oh wow, Destiny. And everyone's moving to Division. Destiny's dead.
They tweeted a bunch of Division questions. Do you think the assault
the Riot Shield?
Yeah, Riot Shield is a
Trendy Hat at Trendy Hat asks, "When is the Division coming out?"
That would be March 8th.
Monday?
Preloading starts on March 6th. So
Puffy Jacket
for the PS4.
asks,
for PS4.
When can I preload the Division?
For PC, I think you preload it tomorrow. Just
yeah.
All right.
You know.
Seriously, sorry about that. Dragonstar 1230 at Dragonstar 123001. Do you think that Year 1 weapons can only be used in classic playlists? I think he means should they only be used in classic playlists?
It's a tough one.
It is an interesting thought.
It fixed the quote unquote thorn problem.
Which apparently we're the only people who have a problem with, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody
a lot of people love Thorn.
To are like, yeah, fucking Thorn, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like Thorn problem quotations, because maybe it's not a problem, and we just harping on it so much.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that when your skill based matchmaking puts you against people that are higher skill, you see it a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's painful.
That's what I'm saying, though, is that everybody's just using this thing and having a blast, except for us.
But in regards to the question, I don't think that solves anything really. That's a bad place to be. That's why World of Warcraft never just did.
Oh, World of Warcraft reference.
Yeah, there's the reference. World of Warcraft. There were a lot of people that they're like, you guys need to make legacy servers. So if people that only liked playing in vanilla and Burning Crusade, they can just go play on the version of the game that they liked. Yeah, that splits up the community a shit ton.
I only liked playing when Crota was glitching all over the place.
Oh yeah.
That's the only Destiny for me. Chase Donser at Chase Donser. If each member of the podcast got to design a raid boss encounter, what would it be? And what are the mechanics? So, I mean, this is like 20 minutes per person.
That's
a big question.
A quickie you could do?
Let me pull up the document.
All right, I'll go first while you guys are thinking about it. I've talked about it before, so it's kind of on my mind. I would love to have a raid encounter where we're getting chased by something, 6-man fire team, all on sparrows, dodging, explosions and rocks, and those sparrows would be able to hit each other. So there'd be kind of a little bit of inner fire team griefing going on.
Nice. I'd love it if it was like some sort of giant rock cabal god or something like that, where it actually required several raid teams to come in, and so it was like 18 versus this raid boss. That would be a lot of fun.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Basically, it's going to be a living machine on Mercury. That is a Vex raid that is the quote unquote beating heart of the planet, and it would be designed as a entire raid that can be done either as a 3-man activity with lessened mechanics, or it could be a full-on 6-man raid with way more mechanics inside it, and you would basically be able to the first fight would be getting inside the computer. There's sequences with lights, with beams of light that you see in a lot of the Vex areas, some sync plates, and having to move, basically play kind of red light, green light with the lights, but it's more stop-go, and you having to figure out the sequence of the lights to get in. And then once you're inside the actual thing, there's going to be an antechamber once you're inside, and there's 4 separate encounters that you can do, and you can choose the order in which you do the encounters. Completing the encounters in a hard mode would cause... I told you, man, there's no TLDR.
I think he was asking for something like off the cuff, maybe 20 to 30 seconds of answer here.
Yeah, TLDR. You remember when I went on vacation? This is what I did during the vacation.
I'm sorry to hear that, Patrick.
No. This is what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do. I designed an entire raid. Yeah, so I needed time to just vomit stuff onto a page and then see what's stuck. And
20 pages of raid design.
20 pages of raid design. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Committed, though. That's sick.
I like it.
Pope?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that one up.
I think.
Glad I went first now.
I really honestly just want to play Patrick's raid.
All right. I do too.
Have I sent you that document, Pope?
You threatened to, you teased me when you were on vacation with it a little bit, but I do want to read it. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Vodka Man 666. We know him. At Rajveer 6700. What changes do you want to see fusion rifles to fix them? I'm thinking just a little more stability would probably do it. It would make them just a little more reliable.
Well, is it so stability fixing the cone spread?
Yeah.
So like you'd shrink the cone spread on there?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like fusion rifles are so difficult because they run the easiest risk of becoming overpowered. You know, but right now they are completely like they're in the garbage can right now. But if they fixed it a little bit, then the amount of people that would suddenly be like, "Oh, I'm going to use the fusion rifle over the shotgun because they can predict people coming around the corner and get ridiculous like range kills that are twice the range of a shotgun easily," is going to go up like that. So I don't know. That's like one of those sandbox problems where it's like if they fix the or take away the power of the doctrine, suddenly other weapons are overpowering, so on and so forth. You know.
I think at the very least they should make them viable in PvE, like up their damage against minions of darkness, just so there's some use for them.
It feels
at the very least they should do that.
Yeah, I feel like they should be almost. I feel like they're like sidearms, how fast they can be brought out and brought ready to bear. I think that should be upped. Something that,
so handling speed brought up.
Yeah,
on fusion
handling
rifles?
speed. Like it seems kind of chunky right now, even with the ones that are like not as far as like the Plan C speed, right? But something more to that level where it becomes a viable secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Plan C still kills it, man. It's still a good gun. So I said at Noah Yoder, what do you think about Crucible rewards? Maybe a buff for Crucible like a Vanguard streak. I like that idea. The longer you stay in there, the better the rewards get.
I like it.
And keep
I like
people
it,
from
sure.
quitting out of games too.
Oh, you mean like buff Crucible rewards in general, please? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Do that, and then also
like the Vanguard streak, I think would solve the issue of people just like quitting games.
Yeah,
I would like that. That seems like a no-brainer.
Crucible streak.
Increased chance at legendaries.
Okay.
Yeah, and then also increase drop rate by, I don't know what it currently is, but let's just say make it like a 25% chance to get a legendary thing at the end of the match. There you go. Boom. Wing, bang, boom. Then plus add the Vanguard streak, and I'd be a happy camper.
So do you put your
and
controller
also make it
on...
50-50 on weapons and armor.
Do you put your guy like spinning around in circles in the corner?
I have a
I got one of those
servo.
birds, and he just continues to teabag.
Yeah,
it just hits that button to make him go up and down, crouch up and down.
There's actually seriously though, Bungie's actually put a lot of mechanics into the game to make sure you don't just AFK by rubber banding your controller. Your controller actually has to move around some too. So what you want to do is like get like a servo type thing on there and basically make it so it kind of just wiggles the controller some a little bit, and then also do a rubber band on the controller. then you're set.
Now we're talking.
I feel like
Now you're
like
set.
Patrick's on like a mini episode of MythBusters on AFK AFK time limits for Bungie.
I only do that because I had I had rubber banded my controller doing something, and I kept getting AFK'd like after 5 minutes. So I was like, oh, I guess you have to move the controller around something. That's smart. Good. Or just duct tape your controller to your cat and have him walk around the house a bunch. There you go.
There you go.
All right, Jacob Dowell at JD from the IE. Is IE Internet Explorer? Is this guy from Internet Explorer?
Ooh.
What would you guys think of Bungie bringing Nokris into the King's Fall raid in the spring update? Nokris or Nokris is apparently the maybe unknown son of Oryx, so the other son, Crota's brother. There may be a statue of him. There may be a statue of him in the.
Don't put him in King's Fall. Put him in his own activity. Put him in his own activity if you're gonna bring him in.
He deserves the end of a mission minimum. A mission boss, like
I think he's thinking like a Dark Below, like Dark Below,
like a Crota level thing.
Yeah, like give him an expansion, a storylines, some sort of narrative that would be interesting.
I thought he was saying he wasn't worthy of boarding the Dreadnought. Like there's something wrong with the dude.
If you
bitch ass.
If you haven't listened to, I think it's this last week's Guardian Radio podcast. They Bife does a lore section in there where he talks about Nokris, and he spouts off for like 20 minutes straight of just like, Destiny lore.
That dude can lore.
That dude can lore, man. And I got a little, his voice talking about lore. Anyway, so
a little what? Sorry?
I'm just saying it was really interesting, and so
it was arousing.
Mm-hmm. So he has a pretty interesting theory on Nokris, and so if you haven't had a chance to listen to that, he did a really good job. Pretty sure he's putting it into a YouTube video, but from that, I would love to see him. I mean, if he's the kind of excommunicated son, the badass, the troublemaker. They get
like Crota's the good one.
Yeah, Crota's the good. He's the goody two shoes, and this guy's like the badass. Hell yeah, I want to see him drive up on his hog with the leather jacket, and you're like, what?
You think Nokris is James Dean or something?
No,
whip out the switchblade comb and go through his hive hair.
About it, so he I don't know.
Swooning all the wizards.
Yeah, so I came in with my two wizards, like one on each. Yeah. All of a sudden he's Italian. I don't know why, but
all of a sudden,
I guess I just.
Oh my gosh.
I think it would be great to see somebody that's just truly evil. Like, I know,
Wait, an evil that hates evil itself?
Mm-hmm.
Like the darkness?
Like the Vex?
Like, just so nasty, Like, he doesn't take anybody. Everybody's dead.
That's interesting.
Is that an answer?
I mean,
all right.
I think it'd be interesting if it was like a hive that has defected from the hive and has grown its own kind of like hooligan rascals, like merry hive men.
A jet all the way.
They're just like, maybe there's some cabal that's defected and some fallen that's defected and like some hive that are like all, they're corroborating together to do their own thing because they're power hungry, but they don't want to be a part of that power struggle, And we go kick their ass. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, the Rebel Alliance.
I like this guy's method to get my attention. It's me, Briar, at Gunner Optic. What do you think the live team is working on? Custom matches? A PvE thing? And anybody would like to hazard a guess what the next live team event is going to be?
St. Patrick's Day event? I don't know.
I can't. I'm gonna be too sarcastic.
Yeah, I have no idea. I haven't been able to predict anything that the live team's been doing. So at this point, we could get space battles that they were talking about last week. For all I know. I got an idea.
It's more. It's not as cool as maybe Greaser Hive, but it is cool. I think they're bringing back another version of Sparrow Racing. This time with more maps and just season 2.
and less drop rates because apparently they were bad.
I didn't think they were bad. I thought they were awesome.
But internal Bungie data said that was too many drops.
I don't got that. They need to figure that out.
The data can go fuck itself.
Data
for
can
all
go
it's
shove it, right?
Yeah.
Data
Those
can
drops
go.
were perfect, and you didn't need to change them at all.
No, they were good. It was
Rip
fun.
the Crimson
the
Shell.
most fun thing about the Sparrow racing was getting all those drops.
Yeah, and the most painful thing about the Crimson days was not getting my Crimson Shell.
No, I
Damn it.
agree with you, Tefty. I never got either one of the shells. I had to wait
Both
until
systems. Poop shells.
I had to wait until after, and I got the poop shell. Yeah.
Got the poopy shell.
Steve Lindsay at Steve Lindsay. Why do you think Bungie reduced the Nightfall loot? I think it's because of 3 coins.
I think clearly there was way too much loot being dropped. Ever.
Too many people were tweeting and excited about droppers that they got in the game, and they needed to nerf that.
Yep.
You remember that
was
time you went into a solar burn Nightfall and you killed the last boss with 3 Galahorns?
Mm-hmm.
Bungie's like, never again, motherfuckers.
Pretty
You'll
much.
never see those things again.
Feel our smite.
You
The
thought
Data
you
Lord
thought
has
drops were fun?
returned.
You never get them again. Archon Priest
know what?
says, F you, man.
I take back my answer of a raid boss. I want to fight the Data Lord RNG beast.
Hey, don't talk about my
Like-
brother like that.
Like some cosmic 4-dimensional spreadsheet that's like consuming time and space. I'm like, go slice that thing in pieces.
Elongated Dongus at Matt Palmieri. I'm wondering if you are ever going to sell a licensed PD beard trimming kit. I've never heard of this beard trimming thing you talk about. I don't know what the.
Is that?
Why would you want to cut a beard, man? That's
I went to the
horrific.
barber today.
I'm guessing they're talking about something that is used to trim a beard, but
I only know one thing to do with a beard, and that's grow it.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it, that's up to you guys.
Believe it or not, I attribute an increase in my personal life RNG to this beard. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Nice, Pope. Nice.
Nice, Pope.
The drop rate.
I will eventually be able to grow a beard. I'm sure at some point in my life, but for now I'm stuck with this Spanish moss, whatever I have growing on my face. And until then, I will have to use
It's kind of a neck beard.
Yeah, it is. It's what I tried to lovingly call it the Spanish moss. Thank you very much, Pope.
I think it accents your
I know you look
jawline,
down
and
to
I
you.
think it looks fantastic, Patrick.
Yeah.
It gives you it gives you like your
It's nice,
backlit.
man.
Mighty Snipes 84 at Tetralt Daniel. Is there going to be something cool for year 1 of having a sub button? So we're approaching that time for Planet Destiny, I think.
Oh shit! Yeah, we're 2 months away. I think. I
Yeah,
think
so is there
we're
going to be
at 10
something
months.
cool?
Yeah, May.
Special event,
End of
maybe?
May.
Oh boy, we better plan something.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mighty
yeah.
Snipes, for putting that one in our heads.
I think
Yeah.
We'll get back to you.
Actually, one of us this week will tweet out a question to you guys. What would be a cool reward for everybody hitting year 1 in our subs? And I probably Patrick most likely will tweet that out. Just trying
I
to
think
get.
we're going to sacrifice
Tef-
Pope to the
Tef-
gods of RNG.
Tefty's the one that's involved.
We're going
with
to toss
it.
him into a volcano.
Tefty's gonna do it.
We're going to live stream
Tefty.
it.
We both nominated Tefty.
All right.
You'll take care
I'll
of it.
tweet it out. I have some ideas.
All right.
Oh, it's at
things that we
11
haven't
months,
done
Mighty
yet.
Snipes. All right, so we got like 20 days
We got
to figure
2
this
months.
out.
2 months
Okay.
to do this, to
All
get
right.
together.
And
All right.
so, come up with something cool, my friend.
Northwest Hanson at Northwest Hanson. What would your thoughts be on a rumble mode in which light level matters?
Sure.
Yeah, cool, man. I like it too.
Yeah, I
It's
want to
be a nice,
I want to see a permanent playlist of that stuff. So
I lost my place. Ronnie Short at Ronnie Short. What if ships had purpose in Destiny 2, like more vault space for more rare ships and ships being upgradable like Sparrows? I thought that was a cool idea. It's like you get a legendary ship and it might have more vault space or, some other perk.
That'd be cool.
Make collected ships, a thing.
Yeah.
But then it wouldn't be purely cosmetic. You wouldn't just be able to fly around with your favorite cosmetically cool ship?
Whoa, I get a lot of points for flying in with my black spindle ship. So it's not purely cosmetic, Briar.
I love the amount of questions.
I'm very sarcastic right now.
I'm sorry to offend thee.
I mean, sure. Like, include the word more vault space in anything in the game, and I'd be like, yeah, sure, I don't care. Whatever, go for it.
I mean,
you are collecting like 25 stacks of heavy. So
no, 34, wasn't it? Oh, was it 25?
I'm going to get to 34 so I can, because you can have up to 35 in the general tab, I think. And
nice.
so
you
I
gotta have transfer room.
So I need one spot for transfer room.
Well, one
Nice.
thing that wouldn't break the game but would be kind of cool is if you got on your Sparrow in patrol, it would increase like the. I think that would be a good place for the detection of elements, but then also increase the radius of your
elongated dongus.
Your
Sorry, I couldn't.
Dongus. Yes,
couldn't resist.
Dongus is ginormous. No, your radar, right? So your radar, like if you get one of these cool ships, its perk is it's got a bigger radar, and then on the radar pops up. So you don't have to use the sniper glitch. Like it shows up all the elements of the mineral that you would want to see, right?
That'd be cool. Like more heads up. Or
on the
display info?
yeah, on the display that your heads up display.
I like that. That's a good idea.
I dig it.
I'm making more space in my inventory now. I'm probably going to use my warlock as a mule for all this stuff.
That's what they're best for.
Yep.
Captain Conspiracy at Captain Conspiracy. Do you want me to make some more memes for the next podcast showdown? What's going on with this next podcast showdown? We got any movement on
Let's
that?
talk about that.
Yes. Yeah, we actually got some movement on that, ladies and gentlemen, and we can announce it because we had confirmation from multiple sources, if I'm not mistaken. Next week, next Thursday, Planet Destiny podcast
versus
the Dream Team.
Oh,
bam.
We are going to be doing a 3v3 event against Mr. Fruit, Rabby
Swear to
V,
God.
Blue Westlow, and yeah.
Swear to God, if Rabby he teabags me, I'm
he's
gonna
gonna
teabag all
teabag the
of them.
shit out of you. You know that, right?
No,
I'm gonna teabag them all hardcore. I'm gonna teabag so hard that they're gonna kill me while I'm in the middle of teabagging to show how dedicated I am to the bag.
You're gonna be just like going up and down, smiling in their faces.
That's right. That's right.
I like it.
The salt's
I
gonna
expect
be
to
real.
see some epic trash talking in the next week. I got to be honest with you.
There will be.
Don't worry, I'm gonna be writing checks all week. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh man, I'm starting to feel like getting a little bit sick right now. It'd be a shame if I wasn't able to carry you again, Pope. Gotta keep the internal trash.
Okay,
going
that
too.
Holtzman's out. It's the three of us. We're in. Let's do it.
Look,
We got this.
I do care about making sure Planet
Briar,
Destiny
Pope, and
wins.
Tefty.
We are the two-time
Undefeated.
I would
World
like,
champions.
World
I would like to make
champion.
sure we're 3-0 as well.
We got to get our full title in here, right, Briar? I mean, world champion, podcast,
Undefeated.
Undefeated champion,
Undefeated?
world champion
of the world.
You know,
Possibly universe.
possible universe title podcast. You know,
Ever.
in time.
Pope's
Raining.
RNG is on the line, people. It is on the line. It is up for grabs. The podcast will decide the future of his drops.
This should be good. This will be a lot of fun.
My goal is to get Mr. Fruit to be so salty by the end of it that he's like,
We're going to get a salty bowl of fruit.
Oh, yeah.
Is what we're saying here.
Yeah.
Can fruit actually be salty?
Oh,
Yeah, I don't
it's
know if he's-
gorgeous. I mean, okay, so let me tell you.
I'm trying to think
Patrick,
of them.
No, Patrick,
Usually it's sugary, and sweet.
You know, Hispanic cultures, they do that a lot, and they'll take
salty mango.
They'll put salt or like a chili powder on like jicama and mango, like you said,
Jicama.
and pineapple and like all these kinds of fruits, and it's just wonderful. I grew up eating that, and on a hot day, there is really nothing more refreshing than some lime juice squeezed on top of a fresh piece of fruit. Ugh. Anyway, I digress.
JHV TBC at Be the Platypus. Favorite weapon foundry? Shoot. Nobody's got a favorite?
I like Omelon. Because it's liquid.
Pope? Is Pope frozen? No, that's on Blink.
No, sorry.
He was in eternal thought.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
Having discussions with his RNG god.
I'm still on this fruit thing.
All right, I'm gonna say
give it to me.
Suros. I would have picked Omelon if Tefty didn't first.
What's the question?
Nailed it.
Hit me. Hit me. I didn't hear the question. Go.
Favorite weapon foundry.
And I already said Omelon. He already said Suros.
Yeah, you're fucked. It's Hake.
You're gonna copy. You're gonna be a
Hake gets
copycat.
sucked by Hake.
I got Hake. Wait, shit. That was an inopportune time to say Hake. That's just the worst possible time to say Hake.
All right, I like Omelon for sure.
Wow, thanks, Pope.
Doubled
Thanks
up
for being original.
Omelon, I feel like has the
I'm just messing.
I know.
the coolest, most original looking stuff.
I like that the liquid on the side goes down as an ammo indicator.
Dude, it's all about the liquid.
Yeah.
The sights are cool too.
The sights are really neat. They're unique.
Suros is my second favorite. All right, Redstorm at Redstorm16. Despite all of the issues this game has, why do I keep playing? Because it's fucking fun, dude.
Because you're addicted.
There is no other game that has the gun, the core gunplay that this has.
Yeah, man.
Teamwork.
Freaking awesome to play.
It is.
Yep.
It's just a fun game. Mm-hmm. McCree at McCree13. Thoughts on Friendly Fire? Imagine a raid with Friendly Fire on. My raid team dreams of this weekly. We would never get past the first encounter.
It would be awesome.
You know the puzzle, or the jumping puzzle where everyone's always getting up and like right at the end when they're about to make the final jump to land on the platform that gives them a checkpoint. Just every single sniper round would just.
Oh yeah. Oh, that last guy would never get across, right?
Yeah.
You know that last guy. It's me when I'm using a warlock.
There should be, and this goes back to some of the original, suggestions we gave Bungie for making raids more interesting, is creating a Nightfall version of the raid, right? Where you could do a Nightfall modifier of the raid, and every week there is a set of, actually challenging, a challenge mode that's challenging, and you have to go in, and some of the things one of the things should be Friendly Fire turned on.
I'd love to see that as a Nightfall modifier.
That would be great. A million YouTube videos would land with yakety sax as background music.
Truthfully, I'd like to see it in some competitive PvP modes.
Yeah, me too.
I like that Call of Duty comp is Friendly Fire on. I really do. It keeps people from doing stupid stuff like, just spamming their super, right? You actually have to be cognizant of where your teammates are.
Like when you throw a grenade and you're like, I totally killed you.
Yeah.
And I killed that guy.
Yeah.
It's like you
It
suddenly
wasn't me,
actually.
it was Pope.
Yeah. He threw the bolt nade.
I don't know. Imagine wiping your entire team with one lightning grenade.
Oh my god, imagine the trial assault. Oh my god.
Stormcaller would be so difficult to use. Your entire team fries.
Oh my god, landfall. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that would be insane. It would be.
That would be. I would love it. I'd love it if they had modifiers. Again, it goes to custom matches. The horse that has been beaten so hard that it's not even a horse anymore.
No, it's a pile of just rubble, flesh that's bone.
It's glue.
It's glue.
Mucousy flesh.
Yeah, we're using it to paste cutouts onto cardboard right now.
Joe Arnold at JArnold1905. If you guys were a rock band, who would do what? Pope would be the drummer. I know that. I don't know what the rest of us would do.
I got the longest hair, so that means I have to be the front man. Front.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So there's only
either that or you're
lead
the
guitar and
creepy
bass left for me and
Either that or you're the
Tefty.
creepy bass player in the corner that's just sitting
I can see that too, Patrick.
Bass guy never gets laid though. Come on.
With your hair hanging in front of your face.
He could be the bass. He could be the bass player and singer. Oh my god, I just forgot his name. Super famous.
Good job, Tefty.
Police guy,
so.
you know.
So I personally see Briar on the drums, right? Just or no, the lead guitar. Like he's just thrashing away on the guitar. We got Patrick doing the bass.
God damn it! You always mix my audio out.
Tefty is Tefty's the front guy, right? He's the one that all the girls got posters of. I mean, look at his beard, right? Like they'd be like, they're like, Tefty, and I'm in the back, just going.
Whoa, I know. It's the drummer that gets the girls, man.
It's the drums that keeps the whole band together, though.
Yeah,
keeps the beat for the whole
that's
band.
The only reason
you are
the Rolling
mayor
Stones
of
are still.
Destiny.
The only reason the Rolling Stones are still together. So their drummer just like, yeah, I'll keep going.
Oh man, that's it. If me flailing around like that doesn't make it into a GIF, I don't know what will. And guess what though? My headset stayed on.
It's
because these are actually like cutting off the circulation in my head, compressing my head. Just saying, it's a snug fit. It's a snug fit. No, I haven't broken these in. Like I pulled them out, and they're great. I've actually I've been enjoying them quite a bit.
Next question.
They're a little snug.
Elliot Kev at VTango5. If you could design an exotic weapon, what would its signature perk be? I've answered this question before.
You've answered this
signature
one so
perk would be Briar wins. Anybody who holds this makes Briar win. Doesn't matter if I'm holding it or you're holding it, I win.
The exotic perk is you can shoot your teammates. That's what I want.
Friendly fire.
Friendly fire exotic perk.
Oh man.
Be like, you equip that gun? Oh my god, I'm so done.
Oh my god. You know, I like I would like things that guns that created effects that were not related to hitting another player. Like they could be aspects of planting a trap, like for example, like you can choose as the player to shoot like that's what I thought originally Thorn was going to be. Like you could shoot the darts into a wall and proximity would detonate the ink on them and they would kind of like the void grenade. But something that has an element to do in the game. Are you all right, Brian?
Sorry, that made me laugh, man.
Okay.
I wanna exotic that will the perk will allow me to shoot Pope Bear and reduce his RNG.
No, when you shoot me for a period of time, the burn will give you my RNG.
Yeah,
RNG over time.
Pope's RNG over time. Legend.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Philip at the Phillig. What sensitivity setting is recommended for peeps learning to snipe?
Start at 5. If you feel like you need to react quicker, go up. If you feel like you're overshooting targets, go down. That's the only answer that there is.
I think 3 to 4, and then work your way up. I would
start at 5. Adjust.
I agree with Patrick. Just I believe starting a little lower.
Oh, actually, I agree with Pat on 5 because literally everybody's different when it comes to sensitivity on the stick. If you know what I mean.
You're all wrong. Max it out or you're a pussy. Moving on. Anthony, at Fearless Flyer 3. What are your guys' thoughts on incorporating story characters such as Cade and Zavala into story missions? I think he means having like non-player characters like accompany you on quests or missions or whatever.
Sure.
Maybe play as Cade.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
It'd be like one of the sequences in The Witcher 3 where you get to play as... Can't remember her name. It's been a year since I played the game pretty much. But, or
hasn't
not
been
a year,
out a
but...
year.
It hadn't been out a year, but it's been a while since I played. You get to play a sequence as a character who's just godly overpowered, And that'd be cool to play as like Cade or something, who's a godly overpowered blade dancer. Who, I don't know, maybe his melee is a blade dancer thing.
What if
Siri, there we go.
What if it like kind of like what if kind of like Star Wars, where you know how they have the super characters, right? You could play as Darth Vader or Han Solo, or as their active perks in the game. What if as you're playing you can get a drop that is you spawn in as Zavala, or you know, how cool would that be? And then you
that'd be cool.
And then you have that unique super, right, or the unique ability.
Yeah, sure.
No, that'd be cool. I also think, like you were saying, like if it was a mission, maybe you had like a hunter vision quest and became Cade and got to experience what he does. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like both ideas.
Cade 6, does he use Thorn or the last word in the Crucible?
He's not I mean, he uses Thorn. I'm seeing, you know, he's not. I'm sorry. He uses last word. He's not going to be rocking no Thorn. There's no way Nathan Fillion's going to be using a Thorn. I'm sorry.
He's using Ace of Spades.
He's using something that means that he has a huge weight.
Before Maury comes out and says, "Pope, I'm sorry," he is using the Thorn.
Are you okay,
Jeff
Patrick?
Para at Light Flame. I know everybody wants anything new in the update. What don't you want to see in the update?
Nothing.
Okay, that's a good answer, actually. I don't want to see nothing.
I don't want to see extraordinarily polished Easter eggs.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to see the tower covered in beautifully ornated Easter eggs that they took a long time to make.
I hear you.
I want some real PvE content.
All right.
Pope?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel Tefty's salt, and I want an extra dash or two of it on my dish.
I like those answers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see sparrow racing.
I'm sending the dish back to the kitchen if it, you know, I'm not going to even put my fork in it. I'm just going to be like, okay, that's it. I'm not going to pay for this meal. I'm walking out.
You know what, though? I got to really agree with Patrick here. It's like the worst thing to see in them is nothing, right? Like this week, there was nothing in there, and that's kind of the worst thing.
Well, I didn't expect to see anything in like the This Week at Bungie. That, you know, they're gonna talk about stuff when they're ready to talk about stuff. As far as like what is actually in the update, I mean, I think it's kind of expected we can see a sandbox update. So we'll see new weapons and stuff, which means, of course, I'll probably have to, you know, redo all my weapon videos, which, yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I just hope that there's content. Like I don't know what I want anymore. I don't know. I'm gonna go play Division later.
Surprises. That's what I want. I want something fresh. I don't want them to give away what the exotics are going to be before it comes out. Yes. I want that stuff to be fresh and new and exciting.
Delete that Instagram. We don't need that.
Yeah, we don't need that. What I'd like is basically what happened in year one. Where it's like, oh my god, what is this? What is this universal remote? Whoa. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you started getting murked by dudes by the Vex Mythoclast in the Crucible, and you're like, "What the hell is going on here?"
I honestly think we may start seeing that. Like if they put new exotics in that aren't in the database yet, they'll keep them classified, and then we start seeing new stuff come out, and then it'll be a rush to see if it's actually good or not.
I think it's more fun to discover them organically.
Definitely.
Yes.
It was
utilize that ability they have to hide the exotics. They need to utilize that.
It's a real shame when sometimes like you look at I like pull up the app and it's like, oh, let's see. Oh, okay, there's like 10 new exotics that are still in the database that we haven't seen yet, and it's like you're already trying to plan how you're going to use that in your loadout. I like to be surprised by everything. So
me too. Mm-hmm. It's very exciting.
You want to be surprised, but you don't want the update to have nothing.
What?
We're complicated creatures, Pope Bear.
I'm sorry, I'm just calling it as I see it.
No, that makes complete sense. Nothing is nothing. Like, it's like, hey, we polished the air in the tower. Like, that's nothing. You know, a surprise is like, you didn't know you want this, but we got this incredible PvE experience that we just cooked up, and you're about to have the most incredible dinner of your life that you didn't know existed.
It dices. You can cook. Yeah.
But we're not telling you anything about that silverware. That's completely surprise.
It's going to be a surprise.
If you've been to Disneyland, the worst thing that could happen is people describe in detail what a ride is going to be for you before you ride it.
Yeah,
Space Mountain.
that's true.
You know?
And then there's this drop where you fall into water.
Pirates of the Caribbean has a very unique smell to it.
Yeah. You want to have all that experience for the first time. The surprise is what we need.
That's what you remember from Pirates of the Caribbean, the smell?
Yeah, I was wondering about that one too.
It has a really unique smell to it.
Who'd you sit next to?
No, I'm just saying. Do I need to Google this? Okay.
No,
You don't need to Google
100%.
everything, just explain it. What do you
I
mean
completely
by that?
identify.
I think Google is bad for the show. I'm just saying, Patrick.
Yeah.
It slows everything down.
Let's just hear what you have to
Describe
say.
the smell.
What does it smell
tell us
like?
what the smell is.
Does it smell like an 80-year-old woman who hasn't taken a shower in 3 weeks? Or
No, it's like this.
Does it
It's
smell
like
like
this.
the fat
It's like
kid at
this
the pool?
musty,
Like, what is it?
musty, wet smell. It's
Like a cellar.
The
Like a
ride,
cellar.
the
Wine
ride
cellar?
has a very particular smell on it. That
Is it a good
everyone,
smell to you?
It's a unique smell. I don't know if it's good or bad.
only
It's
be
the
found
same.
there?
It's on the same. It's on the same level as like
It's where Legionnaire's
leather,
disease
like
was born.
leather or something. Like old leather has
Now-
a very
now let me
unique
ask you-
smell to it.
let me ask
that
you a quick
brings
question.
up. Yeah.
This is very important. Do you like Pirates of the Caribbean pre or post nerf?
Post nerf because Keira Knightley's in it.
Man makes a strong point.
All right, that's a good point.
Solid.
I just
Definitely
like
solid right there.
the who was chasing who around the barrel. That's all I gotta say. All right.
Dakota Sanders at Jack Jr. How could they try and make running the Nightfall more enjoyable?
Make those drops.
I don't think it's about the drops. The enjoyment of the Nightfall itself, I think, has gone down.
It's about the challenge itself to me.
I agree.
What can be done to make the challenge more interesting?
I think the checkpoints hurt. I think they should get rid of those checkpoints
that
and make
would-
it do or die.
Agreed.
Get through it or
Go back to
start
kick to
over.
orbit.
But is that just
Yeah.
us guys, or is there like a huge part of the community that just didn't couldn't finish them?
There's some people that couldn't finish them. I remember like weeks where it's like just all burns that really suck on like Valis to Auric, and you get to the very end, and then you got raffle stomped by a rocket barrage. Okay, there you go, back to orbit. Enjoy the next 45 minutes trying to clear to Valis.
I think the worst rainbow burn was Omnigul.
Omnigul was the
Because-
worst rainbow burn.
That's a tough one.
Like the mortars that the knights send, and sometimes the acolytes.
Yeah.
I used to do solo strikes like on my channel, and that
Omnigul
was like
never.
an hour. It was an hour to get through that
Omnigul
strike.
is easily an hour.
I never completed Omnigul in year one because I'd get to the room and I'd just be like, you know what? I have other things to do with my life than try to solo this piece of shit designed fight.
It was the worst because you had to just stay in that room, clear out ads for like 15 minutes, poke your head out, shoot like 2 to 4
Yeah,
rockets
get her-
at her,
get her shield
and then
down.
run back before the exploding thrall would cut you off from that room.
Yep. Or that knight would show back up and start launching mortars.
I don't feel bad for farming the grass, man. I kill that bitch over and over, and I smile while I'm doing it.
Wow.
Time's Vengeance at MQ9 Reaper. Do you think Trials of Osiris will be around in Destiny 2? If so, would they change it?
Yeah, sure. I hope it's around in year 2. I enjoy the activity. I hope they change it too. What those
I'm
changes
with
would be, I have no idea.
If it just stays the same for like the next 10 years, that'd be pretty lame. They got to change it.
Yeah.
I can see them even taking it away for a pretty long period of time. Replacing
Maybe
it with some
add
other
in
kind
an
of
exotic.
competitive-
Maybe add in an exotic quest line that starts if you get to go to the lighthouse or something, and it rewards like a possible really cool, unique exotic.
That'd be cool.
Like it was supposed to in the beginning when we originally data mined it.
Yep.
Yep.
But I don't think it'll stay the same.
I hope it changes and evolves because it's one of my favorite parts of the PvP in this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it to get stagnant. I wouldn't want it to feel like the Iron Banner where it feels like old content.
Yeah.
Pedro at Mr. Scorps. Is drag scoping something that should exist or something that needs fixing?
It should exist. Get over it.
Should exist.
It should exist, yeah. What they need to fix is connections affecting aim assist.
Mm-hmm.
I think I disagree with all you guys on this.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
The reason for that is I honestly think that it's the aim assist that kind of makes that possible, right? Is you're dragging across somebody's head, it pauses for a second when it gets there, and then you fire, and then you keep going, right? Mm-hmm. I think you're just relying on like kind of that. It's too easy a thing to do.
Yeah,
it's a skill that it takes practice to learn how to do properly. If you look at my sniping in year one, I didn't land drag scopes. I land drag scopes now with the sniper that has the exact same aim assist as my LDR for the most part.
I think what the issue is, I think that snipers, like if you compare this game to other games with snipers in them, I think sniping is just too easy in this game. I just think that. I think it's gotten easier over time.
What other games would you compare it to?
Halo.
Okay.
Although drag sniping was all over Halo too.
Yep. Quick scoping.
Yeah, I mean it was definitely in there.
I wouldn't want it to ever get as hard as Battlefield, where you gotta account for
for wind and bullet drops and target position. No, but I mean you have to look at how Destiny's like more.
It is a more casual experience.
Not a more casual experience, but just like the way you move around the map. It's a very movement based game, and to have a weapon class that would suddenly negate that player movement, when it already does have, it sufficiently negates player movement in that you can't consistently land snipes like from the air or jumping around, moving at max speed. You have to kind of slow down, and drag scoping is a way to keep a particular style of momentum up on the player, but it takes a large amount of practice to do it properly.
I mean, maybe to do it repeatedly all the time, but it's happening a lot. I feel like it's.
I feel like the community is maturing.
Maybe that's
getting
it.
Used to these techniques.
Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not like. I don't have an argument for or against. I feel like sniping has gotten to the point in this game where it's fairly annoying. Like if you get to a big map, you can't go anywhere near a sniping lane because there's 6 guys, hard scoping that lane.
I think that particular problem isn't necessarily because of snipers. It's also because of a bunch of other circumstances, like the primary weapons, namely being just
too weak
that you are kind of forced to use sniper rifles because they're the things that have the quickest time to kills. But
if sniper rifles were harder to use, you wouldn't have to you could protect that time to kill on primaries.
I honestly think that they need to make like the aim assist universal across all snipers. I think
I do agree
aim
with that.
assist.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And then so I think that's one of the root problems. And the game feels different with different snipers and different connection types. And then if they made it like the maximum aim assist you could ever get was, or the max that they potentially would go for with the scope is the 50 range. And then average would be like the 25 for different scopes that change. But all snipers have the same base aim assist.
And you add the same weapon sway that's in No Land Beyond to all of snipers.
Weapon sway in snipers would be nice.
Like,
there
make
it
difficult. Yeah. People bitched about that in No Land Beyond, and that's why it was considered an elitist weapon, because the only people that could really use it effectively are the ones that could compensate for that. And you couldn't just aim down sight and move because you're...
It takes a long time to get used to that scope sway on No Land Beyond.
Yep.
It takes a very long time.
Honestly, I really think it should be applied to all snipers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is about sniping. I just feel at this point it needs to be looked at. I don't know if it's drag scoping in particular, though. I can't really argue that point. First in line at Gillette Q. Do you think custom games should contain loot when and if they come out?
No.
Probably not.
No.
But what they could do is if a game lasted for X amount of time or a score reached a certain type of score, then they could award loot like they normally do. So if people were trying to juice the system, they
I think
effectively
you
couldn't
should
because
get
they could put in...
a thing. They should introduce a new currency called Dark Zone currency. And, sorry, bad joke.
Yeah. Dark Zone levels as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they could have. I think I've said this before. They could have community, like kind of. Bungie could pick like the best of the community, and like for a month, feature that in the Crucible playlist and allow that to have loot, like favorite custom game types.
Well, I think you could. It's, all joking aside, custom games could reward a sort of custom games currency, and you spend it on other people's content to vote on it, right? Like you could buy other people's maps with it, right? Or you could you could just vote on. You could give your money to like a person's map, and that's a way of rising.
That could be like the voting, kind of like like rep on Reddit.
Yeah, that's right. So if you play custom games a lot, you're gonna have a lot of money to donate and to influence really good map design.
I like that. If you design a popular map, maybe it gives you a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's
absolutely.
a good idea.
Yep.
That'd be interesting. Hold on. Before we go to the next question, I just read in chat, people were talking about de-scoping for snipers when you get shot at, like original Halo.
Yeah.
That would actually fix a lot of problems that we have with snipers right now. If you
Yeah,
got
that
de-scoped, and it would increase the difficulty.
Yeah,
So,
if you had the perk, the unflinching perk, it would take more damage to de-scope you.
That's interesting.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Something like that.
That might be broken that way, because then it would be like that's the only perk to get on your sniper. You know?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hog fan safe at BR Hog fan 77. This guy really digs on hogs. Thoughts on year 2 weapons? Not as fun as year 1.
We've commented about this in the past. It's just that they learned from their mistakes in year 1 and made year 2 guns a little bit more diverse.
I'm flipping over on that argument though. I completely would have said, yeah, Pope, I totally agree with you like 2 months ago, but I'm flipping over back to they lost something between year 1 and year 2, and I don't find the diversity is there. There's still one super good fast firing auto rifle. There's still one good scout rifle. There's only one of each of these weapons, and some classes don't have any good weapons, so I don't find that the diversity is actually there.
Okay.
And the guns just don't feel as special. They don't feel like an event when I get them anymore.
Yeah.
So you're a flip-flopper.
I am. I've flip-flopped over on this, I think. I want primary burns back so that I can make a loadout that, can account for 2 different kinds of shielded enemies on a strike or in a raid. I want these things to be special and awesome. And right now they just don't feel that awesome. Like I don't care what I go into a Nightfall with right now. Like whatever's on my character is what I go in with.
Okay.
David at Warren MSP. What 3 tips would you give to improve in trials? I feel like I'm terrible. The first tip would be teamwork. Play with the same guys as much as you can and work on communicating with them so you can communicate effectively even if you're dead. So that way a terrible guy can be an asset to a team.
Yeah. Yeah. Team communication is honestly like the number one thing. Because if you can 2v1 more often than not, you're going to win those matches.
Be both patient and aggressive. Be patient when the enemy team has got a person down. Be aggressive.
David at Warren MSP. What? Oh, I just read that one. Felt Cape 49 at Felt Cape 49. Does Holtz whip his hair back and forth?
Good question.
No, never. Why?
Well, we want to know if you.
I am going to go.
Do you whip your hair back and forth? Do you whip your hair?
I'm going to go post some racy posts on Reddit right now. Damn it!
Zero desire to whip my hair back or forward. Jesus Christ, no.
Oh, I was about to do it.
Oh my God, no.
He is also rough and tough in his Afro puffs. Kevin Miller at It's Miller Time 06. Would Bungie let content go undiscovered? I'm sure we haven't found it all. Yeah, I think Bungie would let content go undiscovered.
Yes.
Like, it wouldn't surprise me to find out, like, 2 years after something is completely irrelevant, that we completely missed something.
I agree that Bungie's the type of company that will let content go undiscovered. However, this community, I feel, has devoured everything possible in the game right now. There is nothing hidden. If you're trying to, like, 360, you do a 360 and shoot this thing with Pocket Infinity and swap to whatever in hopes that it spawns something, no.
Do you guys remember, was it Halo 3 or Halo? I think it was Halo 3, where you had to go, it was like this level that had like 7 rings in it.
You had to jump through them in the order.
Things in like a specific order.
Yep.
And
something
walking
like that
in through them did the Halo theme song and dropped the skull. Yep, I remember that.
That's how you got a skull.
It was, and the only way people even found that one was through like looking at the actual code in the game, if I remember right.
I know that I had the instructions for me, and it still took me a long ass time.
Yeah, it's still hard.
Yeah, I remember looking it up and going like, "What? How did someone know?"
They the most recent one, I think from Halo 3 was the birthday message, right?
Yeah, the birthday message from Halo 1.
Was it on Halo 1?
It was in Halo 1, and it's only accessible during one day of the year, doing a specific set of events, and you briefly see "Happy Birthday" and then the name of the person. There.
And Bungie is notorious for keeping quiet about this stuff, so they weren't like, "Guys, there's this Easter egg. You need to go find it." They're
I imagine that type of Easter egg was a lot easier to do back in the Halo 1 days, when the company was a lot smaller and shit didn't have to go through layers and layers of bureaucracy.
Yeah.
That probably
if
exists.
You look
there
at
now.
what they have put in, though, I mean, it's been some pretty cool stuff, like keeping the Templar from teleporting to get the chest. That's a pretty good one.
Or skill-based matchmaking in December.
That was a cool
nice
one.
Just gonna stab open that almost freshly healed wound. Just get that one in there going.
Tefty's
Rub
gonna
some salt
keep
in
twisting
it.
that knife for the next 3 months, I think.
By far, my favorite Easter egg to find was the Jason Jones in his boxers dancing. Did you, from Halo 3, there was a level on Halo 3 that if you went off the route, off the beaten path down a canyon, you did a grenade jump, through across a couple set of rings, and you did another jump. So it was pretty hard to get back there, and it was all the way back into this back room. You went around this corner, and one of the designers, had taken a photo of Jason Jones in his underwear, and he's like this. And so you go there and you see him naked and back there. So that's probably one of my favorites.
That'd be great if the 7th chest, I'm going to say the 7th chest of the Vault of Glass, is a photo of him dancing naked.
Oh.
I mean, in his boxers.
Oh, that would
naked.
be phenomenal. Not
like a
that
hologram
him make
pops
it
out.
phenomenal, but I'm just saying like that they had something in there,
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Seabass at Sir Seabass. Should Destiny 2 allow 4-man fire teams, maybe add a new class? Why not 6-man? Why 4-man? Why you gotta be so restrictive, Seabass?
4-man's pretty universal for a first-person shooter like Crucible gameplay, right?
Competitive.
Yeah.
Do you want to be pretty universal, or you want to be one more? 2 more? Do you want to just have the minimum amount of flair?
No, I'm just saying more isn't better. And you require 9 pieces of flair, and I have 9 pieces of flair on.
Or one less to
know,
be,
what's the big deal?
skirmish.
How about add a new class? We've talked about adding a new class before. I think we'd all support it, right?
Yep.
Any
We want more content.
variety they can add to this game, I think, would be good.
Exactly.
Last question, guys.
Okay.
Go.
At Count Chubula. Chris, at Count Chubula. Will any of you guys be going to King Gathalion's unofficial Destiny Con? I think we already talked about this. I'm sorry,
Yes.
Count Chubula.
Yeah,
Talked about
we
it in the
did.
very beginning.
But
I
since if
specifically
anyone's
chose
just
this as
tuning
the
in
last
now,
one, too.
Yeah.
I'll be going. I'll be
And
going.
I'll be going. And,
I still have to get it past my wife.
So I'm actually
3,000 miles.
great
is pretty
equalizer.
far.
It's a far ways away, and I got all excited because the BSK guys are all gonna be heading out there, and I'm trying to convince Lumi to do a road trip.
Oh God.
Oh my god.
But if
San
much time?
Francisco to Tampa.
But if
That is a-
not,
that
if
is
not,
cross
I
country.
mean, I Thelma and Louisa.
Rip the
I thought it'd be
streams.
awesome, but yeah, I don't think you can do it without the streaming. Find
Your
some way of
stream
getting a
schedule is-
mobile connection. But we're definitely gonna go head over there and try to crash the same hotel, and I'm gonna get one of those big, gigantic team vans, you know. And we're just gonna cruise around Tampa, anyway, it's gonna be funny.
That's awesome.
It's gonna
Yeah, I'm financially, because we're moving right now and to TwitchCon the following month, it would be very irresponsible for me.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. That's it for Twitter
Oh, man,
questions.
that
Thank
was-
you to everybody who sent one in. We always tweet that out on Thursday afternoon. Just reply to the tweet to be considered. I do stop taking the questions about half hour before the podcast when I'm actually making the list for the show. So be aware of that. And if you tweet me 20 questions, it's going to be guaranteed that none of them get it in.
yeah. This
All
has been
right.
a lot of
So
Dream team. Are we doing that
And
before
division.
the podcast or after the podcast?
Probably after, right?
Probably after.
I don't know.
You could probably
I think
do
we
it
have to work
after.
out details.
We'll work.
We'll
that's
see to
what
that.
this week is for. Pope, you set it up.
Well, I just know that they're going to be dodging it because I think they're pretty scared right now. So
Known Dodgers.
Never
known.
mind. Tefty set it up
Make
because
sure-
Pope's gonna talk
make
shit
sure
the entire
you let,
time.
make sure you let Blue know that I'm if his testicles touch one bit of Tefty's forehead, I am going to be all over him.
You'd be all over what?
I don't know, something.
Be all over the other side of the map.
Oh man,
I'm going to be
It's-
sitting there watching dancing. You know why
You'd
he's
be all
doing
over
it?
that screenshot button.
You're gonna be hotline blinging. Oh my god,
Oh, it's going to be great.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
The baggins are gonna just come out hardcore.
60th Planet Destiny podcast, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in.